Welcome back to Arise News Hour. I'm Faith Orr. Now, Zambia is facing a humanitarian crisis after more than 6,000 refugees crossed the border from the Democratic Republic of Congo in the past month. Thousands of people have been killed and more than 1 million displaced in the eastern Kasai region since the start of an insurrection nearly a year ago. In the past week, 500 people have been fleeing DRC on a daily basis. The insurgency poses the most serious threat yet to the rule of Congo's President Joseph Kabila, whose refusal to step down at the end of his term last December sparked a wave of killings and lawlessness. Well, to discuss the issues facing the Democratic Republic of Congo in more detail, I'm joined by Francine Mukwaya Sodi, a human rights activist and UK representative for Friends of the Congo. Francine, thank you for joining us. Just to start with, just for people who may not be familiar with the situation there have been a lot of protests taking place in DRC. Can you just tell us what people are trying to achieve?
The problem in Congo is that we have someone who doesn't want to organize election, a dictator who doesn't want to step down, even though his term ended since December 2016. So what we want, we've been in dictatorship for 32 years, so we don't want to continue with that. And then the person that Congolese didn't elected in the first place doesn't want to step down after his term ended. So you just want to stay in power. And then he's giving us a lot of excuses. There's no money, there's things like that. Oh, we had election. He actually organized election in 2006 and 2011 because he was allowed to represent himself. Now that he's not allowed to represent himself, he doesn't want to step down. And the Congolese people are not happy about it. Consider that, like I mentioned, I stated before, we were under dictatorship for 32 years. So they don't want to go to the same route because it's not a good thing. We want a strong institution, not a strong man. And Congo, like I always say, the issue of Congo is what's going on in Congo affects all entire Africa because it's in the heart of Africa with 9 neighbors. And then Congo actually can feed all Africa. So if the war doesn't stop in Congo, in DRC, Africa will never develop. That's a fact. And then a lot of people stated it, like President Mbeki, the latest person was Obama. So we need to sort it out, the issue of Congo, and how we're going to do it. We Congolese, we believe that we need a change. We need people to respect our constitution. We want Kabila to step down and respect our constitution because the constitution of the country is a Bible for the Christian, like, and Quran for Muslim is what represents us, and we voted for that constitution. So if someone doesn't want to step down, then there's only one way out, is we have to march and take him out, like people from Burkina Faso did with Blaise Compaoré.
We're looking at pictures at the moment of Joseph Kabila speaking at the United Nations General Assembly in New York today. Now, he said during that speech that the country was moving towards credible, transparent and peaceful elections, but that challenges remain on the logistical, financial, security and legislative front. What do you make of those comments? You know, do you think he will give in and arrange elections?
He's lying. I can tell you that he is lying. It's not true. Like I stated before, he organized election in 2006 and 2011. He's doing everything possible to stay in power. If today you ask Kabila, Kabila is the one that changed our constitution, so he'll be able to represent himself, just what's going on, what's happening in Rwanda. So he can continue, obviously, represent himself. He's lying. Congo is a rich country. We have all the minerals, all the mine, all the taxes people pay, where the money goes. They keep in a specific group of people. Why Congolese people are living with only $1 per day, and the country with all the minerals for all of us to get phone, mobile phone, laptop, we need Congo.
Okay, so it's quite clear that you want Kabila to step down. Through the Friends of the Congo that you're the UK representative for, what is the aim there? What do you want to see instead of Kabila? You mentioned earlier a transition. Tell me about that.
We want, because his term ended, what we want Kabila to step down. because they didn't respect the constitution.
But what do you want instead?
We
of
want
kabila?
someone to like Dr. Denis Mukwege, for instance. There is so many Congolese also that can take that place to prepare election.
So just Kabila, for people who may not be familiar, the doctor, he was the nominee for the Nobel Prize.
Yes, but many times, like a 3rd or 4th time, if I can remember. So we have not just him, we have a lot of Congolese with that ability to take over and prepare election as a transition president, at least for 1 or 2 years. So then we can prepare election. We want him to step down, but for sure, he's a military, doesn't want to step down. And the only way for us, as Congolese on the ground, we're working with Friend of Congo and the other organizations, is just to march. Freedom, you have to fight for it, because that man doesn't understand the language of democracy. He actually doesn't know. I don't know if he understands the meaning of constitution, what constitution represents. So he doesn't want to step down. So the only way out is just so we have to march and do a revolution for him to step down. We know you know, in 2015, he killed many Congolese people in the street of Kinshasa because he wanted for us to have a census. And the census in Congo, size of Western Europe, it takes like it will take 5 years.
Okay, so the unrest is causing people to flee. We've heard from the United Nations today that the government forces have actually been killing civilians. Now, you've mentioned there that you work with people on the ground. Have you heard of any kind of eyewitness accounts?
Yeah, I mean, there's a people like in Kasai region. Kasai is in the heart of Congo, it's in the center of Congo. And I was born in Kikwit, is the region, another city not far from Kasai region. So we have a lot of people who left the region, they are in Kikwit, so we are helping them. And when you speak with them, and then they are telling you how they were pushing out of the lands because of the man, Kabila, what is that it is doing now is trying to provoke, trying to create war, so he can actually proclaim Congo as a state of emergency. Okay, so we have eyewitnesses who are saying the government is beyond all this instability in Congo.
And what is, so for instance, you were speaking there about the Kasai province. 850,000 children have been forced to flee that region. That was the figure up until, I think it was July. You're also a psychologist. What impact do you think this will have on these children and the future of the country? And also tell me a little bit about your own childhood.
I mean, psychologically, I was born in 20 years of war. When the war started in 1997, I was so young and I was in Congo at that time. And then every time when I see war anywhere, I can actually bring that memory. The memory comes back to me. Psychologically, a lot of children who are victims of rape, because rape in Congo has been used as a weapon of war. So if a 9 years old that has been raped, and then all the girl's life is there. They destroy his life, and then majority of Congolese are going and the war. Most of them in the future, if we don't have a strong institution, people think like, if I want to be a president or if I want to be a minister, I need to do a coup, or I need to have a malicious group for me to be able to get a role in the government, in the government. So it's something, it doesn't reflect us. And psychologically, a lot of people, like I was told you earlier on, this young child is about 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old. He left Kasai with the neighbors. So he's in Kikwit, and then he's been crying because he lost his parent. And for him, everything around him is just, it's not happy. So, and this is what Kabila wants for us. And then this is why we've been advocating, Friend of Congo and all the organizations. We want the Western government to stop supporting Kabila, because first of all, he's a legitimate president, and secondly, they need to be on our side while we are trying to.
And I suppose it is important for us to say that it's not just kind of what you would deem more innocent protesters that Kabila and his security forces take on. They do also take on groups like the Bundadia Congo, who, they are not particularly much better than the government. They do kill police officers. They do encourage others to help them chase Kabila from power. That's their own words. they tell men to put sand in their trouser pockets, women to put sand in their underwear, and they claim that this will make them invincible to bullets. So I suppose it's a complicated issue in the country as well. It's not quite so simple as everyone who wants Kabila out is good and Kabila and the security forces are bad, is it?
Why? All this Bunduja Congo, all this group are coming because we don't have a strong institution. When a president doesn't want to organize election, he doesn't want to step down after his term, and then everybody is coming to defend themselves. The country is all over the place now because everybody said, you are not our president anymore. I can do whatever I want. I can protect my village. This is why we have been advocate and say, educate Congolese. We all need to come together and then actually chase that man who doesn't want to respect what represent as Congolese, which is our constitution. That's if you see all this group coming out because of people, and the majority of them, if you speak with them, they'll say, because he's not our president anymore, why is he staying there? I can be like him. That's what instability is all about. When the institution is not strong, then that's how people will rise up in any part of the country. And Congo, as the size of Western Europe, would you imagine? So this is why this is the result of a dictatorship. What's going on in Congo is purely a result of a dictatorship.
Okay. Francine Mukwaya Sodi from Friends of the Congo, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.